Okay, so I'm gonna review my deck list from the preliminaries, which happened like this weekend. My run wasn't the best. I started really well with 2 wins, but then I lost both of my games in the night. So yeah, I got kind of screwed. But yeah, let's just see what I played. I mean, my deck lists were posted online, but I wanna explain my tech choices and why I brought the exact lists because some cards were a bit questionable. So this is my first deck. It's a Tempo Warrior, and we brought a very similar list with Cypher, with Sylvanas over Cairn, and the reason for that is that Sylvanas actually is better in the mirror match, and it's good when you're behind. And Tempo Warrior struggles when you're behind, so we just wanted to have a comeback mechanic in Sylvanas. I'm not sure this choice is great. I mean, Sylvanas is a nice card, but cutting Cairn is a bit questionable. Maybe I would probably either play both or just play Cairn in the future. And something else I decided to go for is Rafam over Varian Green, which I'm happy with, because Rafam is really nice against Ensoth Palace and Renal Locks because of the mummies. And I didn't choose to play Harrison Jones, and the main reason for that is that I banned a lot of warriors and shamans sometimes. Like if they didn't have a priest, I was banning weapon classes every single time. So yeah, that's the reason I didn't bring Harrison. This was my warlock deck, and I think this is very close to perfection. Although the list didn't perform that well because of some really unlucky moments, which I'm gonna talk later. Yeah, this list, I was pretty happy with it, but I would change one thing for sure. Like, the one Defender of Argos was really underperforming, so I would probably play Sea Giant instead of the second Argus, and I think playing 2 Squires is better than 1 Flaming. For the sole reason that Flaming is really bad when you are dying and doesn't really trade well with a lot of with the 2-1s. And while Squire is you play your turn 1, your opponent plays a Tunnel Trog, and then you can just abuse it and win the game, or just PO and kill the Totem Golem. But Flaming doesn't really trade well unless you have a Darwolf Alpha. Yeah, would you consider that? Yeah, I would absolutely consider that. I think it's not good anymore in Zoo because this is a face deck. Yeah, I will post the deck lists in good resolution. But you can also find them in my Facebook page, but Slesser gave you the link right now. Okay, so this is my Shaman list. It's a pretty typical mid-range one with the stuff like Bloodlust, Thunderbluff Valiant, and the only questionable thing I included is the 2 Fire Elementals, which were decent, but I would probably cut them in the future because I felt that a lot of the times you want to just overload on 5, so you can't really afford to play a 6-drop. Thing from Below is not really a 6-drop, it's more of a 2-drop or a 3-drop in the late game. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with this list. I would probably go for a second Lightning Storm because people tend to overextend a lot these days, and maybe cut the Master of Evolution for a 7/7 or even that guy. I think Rain played this card, and it's actually pretty decent at the moment. So we could just improve the list a bit, let's say. I would cut this 2 and maybe play 2 Storms, 1 for Spirits like Loyan did. And the last card is Harrison Jones, which is a very nice deck card. I think this is a pretty fine list. We can cut that for a Master of Evolution if we want to, because we have Harrison Jones, we have the 6 drops, but it's pretty consistent. Okay, my last deck was a rogue deck. I'm not gonna say a lot of things about this deck because it was banned every single time. It's a very greedy list. I expected people to bring control, and although I think Malygos is stronger, and I'm one of the very few people that believe it, this list is much better in the mirror match, and I was expecting to play a lot of mirror matches, so I just brought the Leroy version instead. Okay. So now I'm gonna show the bracket, so I can talk to you about my matches. Okay, suppose you can see now. Okay, my first opponent was Ka. It's called Ka, and yeah, he was a pretty solid player, so to say. I didn't know him, but he brought a lineup which completely countered my own lineup. And his lineup was Shaman, Fatigue Warrior, if I recall correctly. His Warlock was. We can check that. But I remember that his lineup. I struggled against his lineup. It was really hard, and I was afraid that I would drop to the loser bracket from the first game. Yeah, his lineup was Zoo, but I least with WC Giant and Doom Guards, which was fine in the mirror match. Yeah, his Shaman had Harrison Jones, which meant that my weapon classes had trouble with it. His Priest was there to counter my aggressive lineup, and Shaman, which is like a board control class, and yeah, his Warrior was a Patron Warrior with Gore Howl. And I didn't have enough weapon removal, so I kinda struggled with Gore Howl. Anyways, I lost the first match because he got an insane draw, but then I managed to 3-0 his Shaman, so I was pretty happy about it. I played really well this series, like 0 misplays, and yeah, so I was really happy that I beat like probably my toughest lineup in the tournament. So my second opponent was Gosu Forever, and I wanted a rematch from a stream tournament we played like a few weeks ago, and his lineup had Priest, and I was going to ban most Priests in the tournament. Ends of Paladin, it was Chucky's list, and I think Chucky's list is pretty weak, so for a tournament like that, so I just tried to 3-0 his Paladin. I started really well. I 2-0'd his Warrior, and then I threw a game with my Zoo against his Warrior because there was a lot of noise in the venue and I just couldn't think. But then I just beat his Ends of Paladin with my Zoo, which is like one of the best matchups I can get. So yeah, we continued in the winner's bracket. And then I played against Loyan, and Loyan is probably one of the strongest players in the bracket. And he managed also to qualify, and yeah, he was ranked 2 legend in the moment that we played. His lineup was actually behind in the mirror match against my lineup. He had 2 decks I was afraid of, but he had 2 decks I could easily farm, which were his Rhinolock, which is weak against Sue in my opinion, and Rogue. And his Paladin was weak to all of my decks. This is Chucky's version, right? Yeah, this is Chucky's version. And yeah, he had a very nice Shaman list because he's like a Shaman expert, and a Fatigue Warrior. I decided to ban the Fatigue Warrior over the Shaman, and that was actually a very wise choice because I almost 3-0'd his Shaman. Now onto the games. I started really poorly. I played Paladin versus Warlock, which was like the matchup I wanted to get. But yeah, unfortunately I got drag shot in the face. I was at 7 HP, I had 7 minions on the board, I was about to win the game next turn. And yeah, he just snapped my face 1 out of 8, and I lost the most important matchup. Then I queued my Zoo into his, I queued my Tempo Warrior into his Rhinolock. And yeah, he had the perfect answer for my early board. He had Hellfire into Cone Mortal Coil and cleared my board. I couldn't recover from that remove, so I just went on 0-2. Then I managed to get 2 wins against his Shaman with some decent draws, but the last game was a bit sad for me because I never found my board clears. I never found my Doom Hammer, so I just blew up and went to the loser bracket. I was really sad about it because I felt my lineup was ahead against Loyan, especially Ends of Paladin is a deck I wanted to 3-0, and I consistently did it in practice. So every game I lost against Ends of Paladin, it was like kind of joke, like it was very, very unfortunate by my side. Yeah, my last opponent was Thomas. I think Thomas did really well as well, and he lost to Cypher in the loser bracket. His lineup was. I was favored against his lineup because he had an Ends of Paladin, and his Rogue was pretty greedy, so I could farm these 2 decks. I started with beating his face Shaman with my Patron, with my Tempo Warrior, but then he came back. He beat my Zoo with Ends of Paladin. I remember that game because it was very similar to the first game I lost against Loyan. He had like a double board clear, like both equalities in the first 10 cards. And like the first moment he did it, he had a Pyromancer and 2 spells, and my juggle didn't snipe his Pyromancer, so he got a huge board clear. I had a 50-50 to win the game on the spot. Anyways, I managed to stabilize, but he pressured me a lot, and I was down to 3 health, and I toned it up. So I had like a huge board, he had no board clears, no equalities, but he managed to top deck a second concentrate and like 17 cards, and yeah, he won that game. Shaman versus Warlock, he had turn 1 Tunnel Trog, I had no 1-drop, I straight up lost after he just removed every single minion of mine. I think he played that game really well. Then Shaman versus Rogue, I got board control, I kept my Doomhammer, I just slammed his face. Rogue doesn't have a decent board clear if you have a lot of minions, and Bloodlust just sealed the game for me. And the last game was a very sad one for me, because I was on the coin with my Zoo deck, I had double Flame Imp, and he mulliganed 3 cards. I got backstabbed by side on 3, and then on 4 I played my 1/5, and he had the perfect answer, like Tomb Pillager into Prep into Sap, and I straight up lost the game. My only out was like a PO, but I never found it because I had Leroy Soulfire in my hand, but I never found it. So yeah, I just blew out, and that was the tournament for me. But yeah, I mean, I was pretty sad with the outcome, but I think my preparation really paid off, because I had the experience in like dealing with the matchups, and I only regret some deck choices, which I'm actually gonna like show right now on stream. We went through like most of the decks already, so I'm just gonna show them one more time, and yeah, just continue playing some ladder. Okay, so yeah, so for Warrior I would advise in playing like Kufton's list, which is like one Acolyte of Pain, 1 Whirlwind, Varian instead of Rafam, Harrison Jones instead of Sylvanas, no Kern. I'm not sure he's playing Harrison Jones, but we're gonna play Harrison Jones no matter what. And what is his last card? I'm not sure about his last card, but we can be really flexible on that, so let's go over it another time. Yeah, my Zoo Warlock was already explained. I hate double Argus in the deck. Crazed Alchemist is borderline, but I really like him for tournaments. If you want to counter Ends of Pallies, 1 Mortal Coil is amazing, 1 Sulfur is amazing. This is a face deck, so we want to have face cards. Like, Sulfur is great. Sea Giant is great for mirror matches, and it's great against Shaman. Yeah, this is very similar to Logan's list. I just replaced the 7/7 for the Totem Carver. I'm just gonna try that. I saw it from Crane, I really like the idea. And yeah, Rogue, I'm gonna play some Malygos to just see which version is stronger right now. Yeah, Malkorok is really nice, because it's like an aggressive minion, started really aggressively, and yeah, you get a weapon, and that weapon can actually just straight up win you the game. If you get like a Gladiator's Longbow, like a Gorehowl, there are so many weapons that actually just win you the game. And even if you get like, let's say, 2-attack weapon, it's still like a 6/5, which deals 4 damage to face, which it's pretty similar to a Fire Elemental, if you wanna see that like statted in the mid game. So yeah, anyways, I'm gonna start playing some ladder now. This review is gonna be uploaded on YouTube. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and if you have any questions, any feedback for my deck lists, make sure to comment.